What's going on, Aries? Welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an amazing month so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Aries, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Yourself has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So Aries, is that time. Is the planetary energy spread. I've just been so geeked up. So with the planetary energy spread, every time a sun, because we have so many suns, every time the sun moves into a new sign, we're just going to talk about where the planets are at and how we can work with the energies, Aries. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Aries. And you know what, Aries, before I forget, because I totally forgot to do this for Scorpio, just so you all know, before we jump into the readings here. Oh, you know, I can do this whole thing. So, as you can see here, hopefully you can see here, I have a bunch of oracle cards laid out here, and this is each of the zodiac signs that a planet's in. These two in the middle here, your sign and Scorpio's, this is going to be for the eclipse energy, and I'm going to pull an oracle card for each of the signs, and then we'll just discuss how to work some energies, get some tarot to clarify. But just so you all know, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them all down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Aries. Now, Aries, let's talk about this energy here. Let's talk about Taurus first, because we got now the party's forming in Taurus. Because first we have the Sun, we have Mercury, we have Jupiter is going to be entering towards the end of the month, and then we have Uranus in Taurus. Now, with the Sun being in Taurus, the Sun enters Taurus on the 20th of April, and then will be there through the 20th of May. And with the Sun entering Taurus, this really energy kind of invites us to just like kind of slow down and just stabilize a little bit. I like to think of it too as, you know, if you find yourself with some time, you know, really treat yourself to like getting out in nature, maybe going for more walks or going on hikes, maybe doing some gardening, something along those lines. Just because Taurus is very much, you know, just very earth energy, just kind of really just fixed, you know, and just really good time to just kind of just really get back in touch with the earth there, Aries. And it's a good time too to just kind of like, if you've been finding that you've been working kind of hard, you know, or, you know, just like a good kind of work smart, play smart type of energy. But you may also too, you know, just be mindful of stubbornness, just because, you know, Taurus is known as the most stubborn sign of the zodiac. So just something to be mindful of there, Aries. Now, this is where the trickiness starts settling in, because now Mercury's we're in retrograde time, and I'll tell you what, it's been nothing but word salad. But Mercury's going to be, or entered Taurus on the 3rd, and we'll be there through the 11th of June, which is quite a bit. But the retrograde period, this is going to start right after the day after the Sun enters Aries on the 21st of April through the 14th of May. Mercury's going to be in retrograde in Taurus. And with it retrograding in this sign, you know, sign of security, finances, you know, all stability, this is going to, you know, could possibly affect our judgment and interactions when it comes to finances and things of those nature. Not even just for you, but just for everyone. So just something to be mindful of. But you may also, you know, just retrogrades in general, though. They're great energies. It's, you know, it can be seen as just like, oh no, but it's more so a time of reflection, you know, a time to slow down and really, because, you know, the planets look like they're moving backwards or that they're staying still. So it's just like, it's a time to reflect, slow down, and just really kind of think about, you know, what's going down. This is, you know, with them being in, you know, Taurus, let's think about our finances. Are we feeling secure? You know, where are we at with that? But also, you may notice just with Mercury retrograde that just communication might be a little off, and just technologies could be a little wonky at this time. So just something to be mindful of. But after the 14th, you know, once Mercury goes direct, you know, we've taken this time to to reflect and get a game plan. And it's not to say that you can't implement this stuff during retrograde time, Aries, but it's just like if it's just as the energy gets back into it, the thought process will get a little bit smoother. But if you want to get something started during this time, you absolutely can. Just be mindful, during this time. That's all. And then Jupiter. The nice thing, right after Mercury goes direct on the 16th of May, Jupiter is going to be entering into Taurus and will be in Taurus until the following year, till May 25 or May 25th of 2024. So that's dope. But with Jupiter kind of moving into slower sign of Taurus, sure, it may feel like the abundance slows down and that like the luck and things, it may feel like that. But what really is, Jupiter in Taurus is really dope because this allows us to kind of really look over our finances and again, any areas that we feel that we can expand on and start investing in those areas. That's why it's, if anything, this Jupiter is giving us time to like, how do we want our abundance to look long term? How do we want to get like a couple? We can even get like a couple of things started up. And it doesn't just necessarily have to be with just like finances. It could be like setting up things for like your health, for your home, whatever, Aries. But just getting a game plan. And because Jupiter too loves higher learning, loves expansion, loves growth. So anything that's going to get us closer to that growth, Aries, Jupiter's going to pay in full. So, and then last one, Uranus. Uranus, has been causing trouble, especially I feel like over the last couple months here with all this bank stuff. But, Uranus has been kind of shaking things up for the last, 5-ish years or so. Uranus stays in the sign for about 7 years and will be in Taurus until 2025 of July, like right before my birthday. And with Uranus and Taurus, it really is just like an out with the old, in with the new. If anything's was, Uranus is a revolutionary planet. And if things aren't working with the times, then Uranus is just like flips table. We're not working with tables anymore. Now we're working with, I don't know, we're picnicking now. Whatever we're doing. But you get what I'm saying, Aries. But that's Uranus energy. And especially now with Pluto having just made a big move, we're really starting to feel some adjustment here. Uranus is just like, oh, a couple more years, let's really go in. So settle in, Aries. We're still in for some change, but it's going to be a great thing, because change is necessary. But let's see what your oracle card is. Oh, it's for this Taurus energy, which is interesting. You got the 5th card of Capricorn. So I got to get better about doing that. You got the 5th card of Capricorns here, which is the Dear John card. And the Dear John is a card of rejection, cold hard truth, breaking up, set boundaries, divorce, strained situation, it's not you, it's me, the end, final word, cutting cords, something's not working. And, where this card can feel kind of harsh, Aries, this is great energy. If something's not working, whether it be a job, whether it be a relationship, or or maybe even like how, like our sleep schedule, maybe something's going on with our diet, or anything along those lines. If something's not working, where we feel just out of balance, with this cold hard truth, this is a time where we need to start facing some truth. I mean, we should always face the truth, Aries, but in order for us to grow, there are some things, if there are some areas that you've been kind of, maybe, like haven't been maybe addressing, or we haven't been as truthful as we can. Let's say if we've been kind of hitting the sweets real hard, or maybe we've been drinking a lot of pop, or maybe we don't like our job, or maybe we, like whatever this is, maybe this relationship isn't working, because of whatever X, then what are we going to do next? Do we need to cut some cords? Do we need to set some boundaries? How is this looking? But where this energy is at, this is a good time to reevaluate, especially if there's some areas that we got some question marks in, figure this stuff out, Aries. And something when this card comes up, because this card has been kind of just like sort of floating around here a little bit. Just when I think about, especially when we think about like relationships, or maybe even like leaving jobs or things, You know, I feel like that, let's start with relationships. Sometimes I feel like, especially when we're talking about like a divorce, if we're thinking about maybe something that's not working and we're possibly thinking about separating, you know, where it can seem hard in that moment, you know, or even like the build up to going to it. You know, I find, here's what I'm trying to say, Aries. When, let's say this is something that you're getting ready to propose to the other person. Well, I guess propose is the wrong word, but this is something you're getting ready to tell this other person as far as just like, hey, I think we need to separate, divorce, whatever. You know, don't be afraid to take that step, because sometimes I feel that we can build up the situation to be a lot more over the top, or, you know, could be more explosive than what actually might go down. So I'm just saying, like, take it from me. It's when you get through it, though, if if there's something that is resonating with you, or something if it happens to resonate with you down the line, know that if you make this decision where it might suck in that moment, you know, it's not to say that even after you make this, it may not be as big as you thought it was, but it still may not be as great. It's not going to still be ideal, but if it's going to be towards your growth in the long run, you know, we gotta you gotta take that step. And there's something empowering about it too, because when you feel like in that moment, like, oh, I would have never thought I could do this, you know, when you've done it, it's just like, it shows just a new side of you, you know, like you've leveled up in a sense, you know, because now we've unlocked, like, you unlocked some confidence, because you set boundaries. You were like, this is not resonating with me, so bam, you know, took life into your hands, you know. But let's get some tarot on this, Aries, and get a little more into this story. But yeah, if this is something that we're going through, or if we do go through, this is a great time for just reestablishing security. You know, and listen, it's not going to take away from the suck. It might still hurt, but you got to feel it to heal it, and you're going to heal through this just fine, Aries. But let's see what we have here. Interesting. Okay. So we got the King of Swords in reverse here. And, you know, if this is depending on where we're at in the situation, if this is something that resonates, you know, we may get to this place where we don't understand, you know, what was the point of this whole breakup? You know, why did I go through this experience? You know, what was the purpose? And that's the whole point of these situations right there, Aries, is to get that wisdom, is to ask those questions. Why did this happen? How did things get this way? And what can we do to adjust? And what can we do to, you know, because if this is like a relationship, for example, sure, if things have gone south, that's not great, you know, but once upon a time, you know, when it started, there was something there, you know, we had signed a contract, you know, there was an agreement at some point in time, and for however long, I'm sure it was a beautiful thing at first, you know. And we take those times to reflect on what ways did we bring it, so that we can repeat, and what ways did other people bring it too, so that we know what we like in relationships. And at the same time too, this allows us to see the things that other people did that we didn't like, and what other people saw in us that we didn't like as well, and how we can adjust too, you know, because there's a two-way street, Aries. But the thing with the King of Swords, because he's a card really for me of just like, you know, just like that intellectual, like that just really rich kind of wisdom, you know, that deep understanding. It's one thing to go through these experiences, Aries, but it's another, you know, reflect on this. Don't just like power through this, you know, really figure out, you know, what ways did you grow? What do we want to focus on going into this next cycle as we go on this journey? Because that's how wisdom is gained. You know, it's taking everything that we've learned and putting it into application, and using that to refine. So whatever the situation is that we might be separating from, whether it be relationship, job, whatever, you know, apply it, or, you know, if it comes up, be mindful of that, and know that there is wisdom. There's always, if we can't find anything out of a situation like this, you know, like where as far as like growth, or, you know, like the silver lining, there's always wisdom here. There's always growth from that. So just something to keep in mind. All right, so you got the Two of Pentacles up right here. And with the Two of Pentacles, you know, I feel like that one of Capricorn's cards, you know, oh, I love this actually, because, you know, the Two of Pentacles, this is Jupiter in Capricorn. And I bring that up to say that with this situation, you know, whatever's gone down, after we've set this, you know, made these decisions, you know, we're going on to a new step here. You know, we have to figure out how we can work with these energies again, where we can find our stability, our abundance, you know, all of that, Aries. So take this time as an experience, you know, to figure out what do you want to do next, you know, because this is not just like, you know, this thing, because even if this is like, let's say we're realizing that, you know, maybe this is like a job, you know, maybe something happened where, you know, maybe this could be, let's say, for example, if we got laid off or maybe even got fired or something along those lines, we can look at it as just like, oh, a situation has ended, you know, that, you know, we can stay in this place of confusion and not understanding that, you know, whatever that is. Or we can look at it as where, yes, this situation may have ended, but what can begin from this? You know, where's this taking off? Where's higher self trying to lead you? Because when we tune into that, you know, opportunities, there's abundance that's going to pop out of that, you know, and just growth. But we got to work with these energies and figure out, you know, just where things are leading us. And and really just like, I really feel like, you know, this Two of Pentacles is really emphasizing, you know, just like if you know, really tune in and be honest. If something doesn't feel harmonious, you know, it's not to say just up and quit it, but it's just like, what can we do to fix it? You know, if this is something with our job, is it something like with like a work thing? You know, maybe you want to get, if this is something with work, for example, maybe this is something where you might want to think about getting in power, possibly. You know, if it's like, you know, maybe going for like a promotion, if you've noticed that, like, you know what I mean, Aries? So figure out how we can make this thing work for you here. All right. Interesting. Okay. And you know, I do feel like, because you got the Five of Swords popping up here, and you know, I'm just thinking that if some of us, maybe if we're looking for like work, for example, because it just kind of how these energies kind of popped up to me. When we think about, well, especially when we're going through like, you know, if we're looking for jobs and we're going through the interview process, that can be such a you want to talk about just a self-esteem under attack. The interview process can be a little intense sometimes. Sometimes it's not to deter you from, you know, putting your stuff out there, but just if we get into a place where we get like a lot of rejections, possibly, just thinking with that Five of Swords, if we putting ourselves out there, don't let that get into a place where where you feel like you're doubting your skills or something along those lines, Aries. Just if we're out looking, because it may just be just like this wasn't the right fit. You know, they may not, you know, these skills weren't, the energies weren't lining up. But know that you're not a failure or anything along those lines. If anything, this allows you to ask, if someone doesn't move forward with you, then we can say, was there something that I could have brought? Was it just like an experience or like a tenure, like whatever it is, you know, get as much feedback as you can, but don't let that deter you. And, you know, just if we're on that realm, you know, don't compare yourself to others, you know, thinking about just don't compare, like, you know, because maybe some people are like naturals with interviews, and maybe you might be like a nervous interviewer, which, I mean, I get it, you know, I'm kind of the believer, it's just like, let me show you how I do my work, you know, like, it's one thing to talk about it, but like it's, anybody could talk. Let me show you how to deliver. That's kind of where I personally operate from. But, you know, don't let that get you in a place of feeling insecure or anything along those lines, because just when one door closes, another one is open. And if anything, it's just these rejections are getting you to the opportunity that is meant for you. It's just that maybe the stuff here was just like, if anything, with these rejections, you know, that could be just a reminder too, you know, where was I going to go with that? not even just like the areas that you can strengthen in, but it could just be, you know, when we ask for that feedback, maybe you may just find like it's just like, I'm not quite sure where I was going with that, Aries. I hope that that makes sense, but just don't let that get you in a place where like it doubts your skills, or that we don't feel confident or anything along those lines. But I also think that with this card as well, just with like the setting boundaries and things, just like, you know, if we have people that aren't harmonious, you know, that just got us feeling some kind of way, or just any kind of weirdness, Aries, I just say, just kind of be mindful of that going through this month, you know, just if we're in any sort of like strained situations or anything along those lines, okay? Alrighty. Now let's get on to, because I've been kind of really excited to talk with you about this this eclipse stuff here, because on the 20th of this month, really in like a few days when this is dropping, like a couple days, we're going to have the hybrid solar eclipse in your sign, and we're having like another, like a lunar, you know, this like a new moon, like another new moon in your sign. So this is like a lot of stuff that's going down here with this eclipse. But when the eclipses are a time of just like, you know, endings and beginnings. So, you know, this is a lot of Dear John's probably situations are going to be coming up here, Aries, for over the next, you know, few months. Because eclipse energies, I feel they last about, I feel like 5 to 6 months. But with this hybrid solar eclipse, this is a very rare eclipse. It only happens like maybe once a decade or so, but it's a combination of like the total solar eclipse and of an annular eclipse. And the annular is the one where it's just like the moon is a little bit smaller than the sun, or appears that, and then that ring appears around it. But where this eclipse is happening, it's going to be on the 29th degree, or the anaretic degree of your sign. You know, you're getting a whole lesson here. There are 30 degrees in each sign, 0 to 29. And with that anaretic degree, that represents the end of a karmic cycle. So that's like your energy, Aries energy, at its like most mature there, that last degree. So this is a great energy for just like realizing your authentic self and your destiny, and just really coming into that King of Swords energy, really coming into that. So set your intentions, Aries, you know, and this is not something where it's just like, bam, things are going to happen. These next, I really feel like next 6 months, really just throughout the year, is just about getting a game plan, thinking about what ways do you want to grow, and how do we work with that energies and get some of these balls rolling here. So just some things to think about with this energy coming up over these next few months. But let's get an oracle on this and see how we can work with this energy. Interesting. Okay. So you got the 5th card of Taurus here, which is the broken vase card. And with this broken vase card, this is a card of hardship, misfortune, trial, overcome, crisis, 2 steps back, change of state, grief, fix it, opportunity, pressure, burden, destroy, adversity, accident, disappointments, and setback. And you know what? Let me get a drink of tea, because I know how this is looking. Hold on. You know, because it's like first we got rejection, and now we're breaking vases. But if we're not already in some sort of like, you know, like overcoming some type of like crisis or anything, or you know, sort of like weirdness, this energy, this doesn't give me like, you know, bad things are just going to be coming for you, Aries. This gives me like, this just is like, hey, let's start thinking about some areas where let's do some preventative maintenance, you know, and what ways can we get on top of this stuff right now, so that because listen, we're going to have broken vase situation, Dear John's situations happen, but when they do, how do we adjust to them? You know, how do we correct? How do we not get caught up in this place where, you know, the King of Swords is in reverse and we're sitting here confused and not understanding what's going down here? Because these situations that are going on, they're meant to bring change, Aries. Like and I know, like, and again, it's not to take away from, because it could be an unsavory situation that we may be in or that may happen, but it's what we do. I really, when these situations happen, be very present in them, and figure out, go through all these feelings. What are you going through right now? Do we feel pressure? What are we feeling? And then how are we going to use that fuel? Because you're represented by the Emperor. And when I think about like fears and things like that, the Emperor uses those energies as fuel. Those are turning adversity, we're turning it into action. So that's what I feel like that this, at least so far, starting out, this feels like this is going to be good energy for you just to start getting ahead of some things, to keep a cool head in these situations and figure out, just how we can set maybe some safety nets up or anything along those lines. But don't let these situations keep you down where they feel like that life is just like holding you back or anything along those lines, Aries, okay? But let's get some tarot on this. Because really, I'm more so getting with this card is the emphasis on like the change of state here, in which you got the Two of Cups popping up right here. And that's where I feel like that's what's going on here. It's not that things are just like breaking and things that are just going to go bad. It's just that the energy is like, it's reharmonizing. This would be a great time for you if there is any type of dissonance, or, because you might already be in a broken vase situation and might have been in it for a while there. Maybe that's where, if we've been feeling this confusion or fog or lack of direction, this is a great time to connect with higher self. And we're going to talk about, that in Scorpio energy in a minute, but a good time to just like to harmonize again with your, really, yes, with others too, but really this is a great time to connect with and really just like this, with this happening in your sign, Aries, think about this, figure out what direction are you trying to go? Because, I feel like broken vases, I feel like you can handle broken vases like a boss. Like this I feel like is nothing. Compared, like once you got that groove there, when you have like a direction, things are going to, I feel like, just get back in, fix it. They're going to get back in line just fine. But yeah, I just feel like that it's if we've, because I'll tell you what, Aries, it's like these readings, it feels like the energies are, at least so far, you're like I'm like a quarter of the way through, you're like my fourth one. And a lot of the starts have been like there's been a lot of like spilled milk and Dear Johns and broken vases, but I more so feel like it's the energies just like saying like, hey, let's get on top of this stuff. Let's not sleep on some things. Let's start making some adjustments now. So, this is not a time, this is a time to stay calm and to slow down and to just figure stuff out here. This is not a time to be like reactive, especially with where your ruler's at right now. Mars being in Cancer, which we'll talk about. We want to just keep a cool head here, Aries, but let's oh, that's it, Aries. We just want to keep a cool head. Okay, I'm with it. See, we don't need to spend that much time on it. We just got to, we assess the situation, and then how we going to keep it moving? I'm with that, higher self. Now, let's talk about this next energy, which is the full lunar eclipse. That caught me off guard. I definitely was ready for some more there. But let's talk about this full moon in eclipse in Scorpio, which is going to be happening on the 5th of May. Yeah, 5th of May. And because with you and Scorpio share a ruler, Mars. And so you might feel this like a little more intensely than others. But when I've been talking about this energy, Scorpio energy, where yes, they're seen as the most intense sign of the zodiac, where it's like, you can call it intense, sure, but how I like to look at it is that Scorpio brings catharsis. If it wasn't for all that transformative energy, there would be no growth. Everything would just stay stagnant and it would just be a mess. So this energy is this may bring up energies of like, maybe some old traumas, maybe, just like it might bring up some just painful experiences in general, maybe some past broken vases, past broken base experiences, or, you know, past breakups or anything along those lines. It's areas where we might have felt really hurt. But the thing with Scorpio energy, it takes that trauma and that pain, they turn it to power, turn it to triumph. You know, it's growth. And you're going to notice too, Aries, that, you know, your psychic awareness is going to be heightened. That, what better way to start tuning back, you know, get back in touch with higher self if we've been feeling a little disconnected, or however you connect with the source, you know, your spirituality, and work with this. But let's get an oracle on this and see how we can work with this energy. Oh, yeah, okay. Interesting. Okay. Oh, okay. I like that though. That's we got the 5th card of Leos here, which, all right, now because I wasn't going to mention anything, or, you know, I wasn't sure about this before, but we're starting to get some synchronicities here. So that might be something to pay attention to. You got 555 here, but you got the 5th card of Leos, which is the Dynamite card. And with this card, this is a card of excitement, passion, action, suspense. Excuse me. Action, suspense, destroy, powder keg, fantastic, energetic, breakup, catalyst for change, explosive, short fused, firecracker, blast, sudden, unexpected, and fast. And you know what? That's the type of energy that I feel like that's where we want to be. Aries is in a place, because this energy, this is exciting times, because there is going to be a lot of changes. You know, there are a lot of cycles that are ending, and this is an opportunity to bring in new, fresh, fun, fantastic energy. Leo is very creative, you know, just like this is one of the fire signs are just very creative in general. But this is a great time. This is not something where, you know, we're just feeling like, where we want to feel, how do I want to put this, where you want to feel like you can't do anything. You know, this is a time of passion, you know, pursuing things that bring you to action. You know, this is to do that deep dive, and just to find, really, Aries, find that thing that would light that spark, and then start nurturing that energy. This is, you know, 2 of Cups, Venus in Cancer, you know, start nurturing that energy, nurturing these passions. Mars in Cancer. And when you do, I feel like things are going to take off. There may be some unexpected change, sudden shifts, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you have all this new stuff that's getting ready to go down. Because it may, you know, you might be feeling at the moment like there's been nothing but, like, maybe dynamite's been going off. It's just been nothing but, like, you know, precarious situations and just like uncertainty, and it's just like, don't panic. Stay calm, stay cool, stay collected. You're an Aries. You have this. You're going to get this figured out, and it's going to be excellent. But let's get some tarot on this, Aries. See how we can work with this explosion here. I like that. See what we have here, Aries. Interesting. I like that though. See, I love it, because you got the 7 of Cups in reverse here, and then you got the 10 of Cups upright. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what we get excited about, because if we stay in this place, you know, if we focus on, you know, whether something has happened or in the future, we just focus on, like, broken vases and Dear Johns and things, then we're not going to see all the options that are out there. You know, we're just going to feel like that there's just this, like, limited selections, and that, you know, that our destinies aren't in our control. But really, this is the time to start any sort of like ideas, epiphanies, things along those lines. Well, whatever would make you happy right now or excites you, brings you passion. This is Mars and Pisces. Take that energy and create your dreams. Pisces is very dreamy energy, creative energy, and is going to be something that is just going to get you in just a really great place. And this is energy too. You know, if we're not sure what our dreams look like, don't be afraid to bounce some ideas off of people, work with some others, you know, and then like just thinking about like collaboration. This is a great time for that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in just like, you know, where everyone's like partnering up and like creating businesses. This can be, you know, doing stuff that makes you happy, maybe doing some stuff in like your community or doing even stuff for just like your family, you know, or whether that be like maybe you want to start like a gardening community, maybe you want to do some with all these broken vases going around. Maybe we want to start like a sculpting group and help the Soul Tribe get some new pottery. You know what, whatever, Aries. But just this is a great time. You know, slow down and feel like, if anything, you can, you know, and I think I told Leo something similar. You know, this could be something where if you've noticed, maybe if people around you even have been has been just like kind of down in the dumps or just like, no, like just a lot of like things have been feeling like they've been destroyed or whatever. You can be the catalyst for change, Aries. You can be someone who brings in like, okay, let's do what you do. Bring in the rush of spring. Let's bring in some new life into the mix here, and bring 10 of Cups for people. Get people inspired to pursue 10 of Cups around whatever radius that you want this to be. But you know, just something to, just a little random, it kind of popped in my head, but just something to think about. You know, this is great energy. There are so many opportunities out there. And you know what? If we do have ideas that maybe don't, like they seem like good ideas, but maybe they don't make sense to us, hold on to them, because who knows who you might talk with. You know, maybe there's someone else, they might be looking for some kind of direction, and you're just like, hey, you know, I was just thinking about this idea the other day, and you might inspire a King of Swords who might try to tie you into something. And look at that, opportunities are all over the place, Aries. So I hope that makes sense. I was quiet. I think I just ran with that one. So just yeah, I think that's all I got there. More? Yep. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh! All right. Hold on. Your ruler's here. The Tower. And you know what? I feel like for some, I feel like that if we feel like we're in a Tower moment right now, not to get lost in this. You know, this could feel, just thinking with this dynamite, you know, this could be something where we feel like we're in a weird kind of explosive situation. You know, one, depending on how this is looking, because even just seeing how this is progressing, you know, when it comes to people and arguments and things like that, Aries, just be mindful. You know, I'm not saying that you're going to get in any kind of fight or anything along those lines, but you know, if we are in a place where we're not sure maybe how someone might respond, you know, just kind of take it as it resonates. You know, trust your intuition. I just feel like that. Let's be, because if this is a relationship, this tower almost feels like that, where if you foresaw this coming, this may be like, this may come across like as a tower moment to someone else, you know what I mean? And so who knows how they may respond to that, especially if this is something you've been thinking about this for a while, you know, been trying to plan this conversation. So just be mindful, you know, maybe if we feel like it could become volatile, maybe be in like a place where there are some people, you know, just play it to your situation, Aries, you know. I don't feel any weirdness, but just with the cards, we got to talk about it. But I also feel that if we are in a tower moment just in general, or if we find ourselves in a tower moment in the future, that this is not a time to look at this as just everything is just being destroyed. You know, this is a time of what tower moments are meant for us to take action. This is energy. I mean, eclipses. Out with literally eclipse energy. Out with the old, in with the new. So how can we get to this happiness here? How can we get things harmonious, get things back in, you know, get it back in balance? But, you know, we just don't want to get to this place where we're just thinking like these people here, where it's just like we're shocked that this tower's happened and we're just going to stay in this place of free fall. No, at some point we got to get our footing. You know, the nice thing about the tower, even with just as I was saying that, you might feel in free fall for a second, you know, if we haven't been paying attention to like the signs, but that's okay. You're gonna get back on solid ground again. It might not be the most pleasant landing, but you're gonna get back up. And then it's like what you do when you get back up is going to be how you grow during this. This could make you, when I was talking about that mature Aries energy on that 29th degree, this energy could shape you into that mature Aries. You know, not that you aren't already mature Aries, but you know what I mean? It can take you to that next level. So embrace this, you know, these moments here, and be present during this, because there's lessons that's coming through this. All right. Now let's talk about the next energy here, because Venus is in Gemini right now, and she entered Gemini pretty early. She entered Gemini on the 11th of April and will be there through the 6th of May. And with Gemini, or with Venus being in Gemini, this is very, very kind of just like lighthearted and just like a cerebral type of energy for the energy, you know, for Venus. It's very fun, very social, very lighthearted, very like, might feel like a socialite, you know. This is great time for just like mingling and networking, talking about, you know, getting like game plan, you know, for like abundance, you know. Maybe we're talking about like, maybe we're seeing like, you know, when I was talking about that change for like neighborhoods and things, you know, maybe this is something where we're talking with people who might support that or something along those lines, Aries. But this also is great energy to, you know, considering Gemini is very, you know, cerebral, very much about like, it's about, they embody childhood learning, you know, curiosity. This is great energy for investing in things that increase our intellect, you know, that are going to refine our skills. So, and get more, you know, and become more abundant. So just something to think about, Aries, you know, while Venus is in this sign. You know, it's going to be just, and you may notice that even like your conversation or that your speech just takes on a little bit of more of a sophisticated air, even the way you think. So just something to keep in mind. But let's get some oracles on this, or an oracle on this, and see how we can work with this energy. All right, Aries. Let's see what else we have here. Wow, Aries. Wow. Synchronicities. This is gonna be a time for you, Aries. Like, you know, take it as it resonates. But you got the fifth card of Scorpios here, which is the thunderstorm card. And that's interesting. Leo got this card too. And with the thunderstorm card, this is a card of interesting. All this power here. You got power. I thought there was power somewhere else over here. That's fine. You're still powerful, Aries. But this thunderstorm, this is a card of power, destruction, trouble, electric display, a warning, out of control, energy shift, conflict, triumph over evil, fierce, booming, conflict, opportunity to overcome. So Aries, because that really is, you know, because I just, even just like as shuffling, I was just like, what are the chances? You know, because really, Aries, there are 108 cards here. So I almost feel like, you know what, for some of you, because the thunderstorm really does, this almost comes across as like a tower moment for me. I almost feel like that, I really feel that for a lot of you, you know, if not all of you, this is going to be just on a spiritual level. I feel like this eclipse season for you is going to be an electric one, you know, pun like half intended. You know, I do, this is going to be like probably like a time of significant change, but I feel like it's one of these situations where, because normally towers upright for me, like, yeah, there's stuff that's happening to you, but this one feels like you can be this storm, you know, you can bring this change, you know, really kind of put your skills on display here and really come into your energy, come to your power. You know, I feel like the warning is that Aries is about to level up, and that you need to, and that everybody else needs to bring your A game, because the energy is shifting, in that this is, you know, any sort of conflicts that I feel like that may come your way, the more that you persevere through these experiences, Aries, this is going to shape you, I feel like, in a way that is going to, well, you know what, let's find out. Let's find out, because that's, something's brewing here, but I don't, it doesn't feel ominous to me, Aries. This could be, you know, there might be something, sure, of course there are going to be things that, of course, that might catch you off guard, obviously, but I feel like you can take these storms and ride these out and really work this to your advantage here. That's just like, that's more so intuitively what I'm getting here, Aries. But let's see some tarot on this and get a little more details on this energy. Interesting. So you got the Hermit in reverse here, Aries. Hold on. And with the Hermit popping up in reverse, honestly, the first thing that's popping up in my head is that, you know, sometimes with the Hermit, you know, this can be a time of reflection, a time of, you know, introspection. But I feel like with this energy, where, yes, you know, we want to take this time and think about what we're going to be doing, Aries, but there's a strong emphasis I'm getting from higher self, you know, just to like, don't keep these plans, any sort of ideas or anything while you're cooking up your ideas. You know, don't keep that lightning, this storm in a bottle. You know, at some point we gotta shine some light and let people know that, like, hey, I'm here and I brought it. I've brought the spring in a whole other way. Look at you, bringing spring in the summertime. You know what I mean, Aries. But yeah, I just, for some of you, you know, if we've been sitting on any kind of ideas, I feel like that this energy is trying to, almost like trying to like shape you or guide you into something, you know, like some sort of like really get you in your emperor energy. So, you know, one, now for just like in general, definitely take this time, because the Hermit, when it does pop up in reverse, that is an indicator to, to just check in with yourselves. How's your health doing? How you're doing, just physically, mentally, spiritually, and just figure out, where do we want to go next from here? Where's the universal energies trying to guide us? And then listen to that voice, and then apply these skills, gain that wisdom, Aries, because when you apply this stuff that you're learning from whatever these situations are, it's gonna be just, I feel like, really nothing short of epic. So just something to think about more. Let's see what else we got. All right, Aries, let's see what else we got here. Interesting. Okay, so you got the Devil up right here, and then we got the Eight of Wands in reverse. And Aries, just thinking with this Eight of Wands, with what could possibly be going down here, I feel like this could be, depending. You may already start be feeling it, but this could be a bit of an interesting time for you. But I feel like in a really exciting type of way. But I feel like in order to get through this smoothly here, to not get, try not to get stuck, we need to be mindful of any sort of things that are holding us back, Aries, with this Devil card, because the devil is more than just like your drug, sex, alcohol, gambling, type of vices. This could be limiting beliefs, not thinking that we can rise up to these occasions, that we can get through these tower moments, things along those natures. If we find, wherever, just how this energy here, whatever areas we feel like that we're get stuck, or if we get stuck somewhere in the future, figuring out ways that we can get through this and not staying in that loop where it's just like, oh, like, you know what I mean, Aries, where it's like, especially if, if this feels like that things have been happening to us, it's like where, we could get into this place of just like life is against you. We paint a weird, could potentially paint a weird narrative. And that's going to be really important where your thoughts are at. We want to be mindful of that, like always, but really over these next 6 months, just allowing that energy to, be just aware of where your headspace is at, and try not to get stuck get stuck in these devil moments, because the devil is not it's the energy is not there to keep you down. Just like the tower, you look at that, you went from the devil to the tower, but the devil is not there to keep you down. The tower is not there to keep you down. They both want you to grow, but it's just thinking with this eye here in the tower, in most days this has been like the eye of Shiva, and like in my my other deck, in the Thoth deck, but this is for seeing the truth for what it is, seeing the growth for what it is, for the potential for what this is, because this is just like a lot of energy, just a lot of potential energy here to do something just brilliant. So yeah, just something to keep in mind, Aries, okay? But let's talk about your ruler, since your ruler wanted to show up here. Your ruler's in Cancer, and moved into Cancer, I want to say it was either the 25th or the 28th of March, something like that. But we'll be in Cancer until the 19th, or through the 19th of May. And with Mars being in Cancer, for me, this is really great energy. If we have any sort of like passions, dreams, something that just really excites us and that we're passionate about, to pursue those. Because Cancerian energy, my sun sign's in Cancer. And, Cancerians, where, when there's something that really resonates with us, that we really feel that is going to bring us like 10 of Cups, we go for it wholeheartedly. And I feel like couple that with Mars energy, that gives it that like extra fuel, to get what it is that you want, Aries. And I also feel that or but just something to be mindful of, with Cancer, or with Mars being in Cancer. Just because Mars has the potential to be, really an aggressive sign, it's masculine energy. And Cancerians, they have the potential to be, an emotional sign, like overly sensitive. That that it could get you in a place of where we get reactive, and then tower mode. We're in broken vases, and we're perpetuating problems. So just something to be mindful of with this Mars energy. But let's get an oracle on this and see how we can work with this energy. But yeah, be looking for that, Aries. If you've been seeing 555 or maybe like fives, quite a bit of, be thinking about that, Aries. All right, breaking the trend here. It's just if there's another 5, it's like, we're about to be done. But you got the 7th card of Aquarius here. Interesting, which is the optical illusion. And the optical illusion is a card of not what it seems, mirage, trap, unclear, visual effect, confusion, head trip, trick, hallucination, hocus pocus, sleight of hand, projection, and predictive programming. And I really feel like, Aries, just with where things are going, just like in the world, there's going to be a lot like where things, it's not to say that there aren't a lot of changes, that things aren't a little weird right now, but I feel like there's going to be the potential of just having it overhyped a little bit, because yes, there's broken vases and thunderstorms, sure, there are things going down, but that's not all that's going down. If we just focus on just that, then sure, that's going to be the narrative. It's just going to be nothing but chaos and destruction. But for me, when you think about the tower making all that space, I've been thinking about the relationship between Mars and Venus, where Mars, comes through and wipes out all the stuff, wiping out that old foundation, then that allows Venus to come in with the abundance and brings in newness and growth and beauty to where Mars has made space for that. So that's, we don't want to get into this place where we're stuck in our heads, or stuck into any hallucinations, confusions, or anything. If it may feel just even thinking with the 7 of Cups here, it may feel that there aren't a lot of options, but there are opportunities of plenty. There is abundance of plenty, but it's something that we're going to need to manifest. And really, Aries, there's a feeling that maybe this could be something where if we're in a place of, I don't know if you want to get into a place of, I don't want to put this, helping the community or something along those lines, being a voice, being a voice that's kind of piercing through the confusion. I feel step into this, Aries, this just something to think about. But, let's be mindful of just what we're telling ourselves and what we're listening to right now. And because if we're just because if we're just watching a lot of news or listening to a lot of podcasts or anything along those lines, that's just perpetuating that narrative that just everything's on fire and we're just all going to collapse, then it's just what is that really accomplishing? You know what I mean? It's just okay, all these storms are what happened. How can we be a catalyst for change? How can we triumph over all of this, over all of these adversities right now? Come on, how do we build more bases? So let's get some tarot on this and see how we can move through this energy. All right, Aries, let's see what we have here. Yup, absolutely. You got the High Priestess in reverse here. In this, Aries, this is the time especially with, you know, with everything that's going down. It can feel like that there is just like that is just madness, but that's only if we're not listening to our higher selves. You know, if we're not listening to our intuitions, things can feel like they're out of whack, but really we're, with all of this uncertainty and, you know, all of this destruction maybe, and all these voids that are, all this space that's being made, this is a great time for us to fill that space with 10 of Cups, things that make us happy. You know, let's start adjusting some things. Because the thing with the High Priestess, you know, this is the moon, and the High Priestess, the moon is rooted in the past. You know, the moon's Cancer's ruler. And I only bring that up to say that for Cancerians and like the moon, thinking about that, it's like we learn from our past to navigate in the present to create our future. And that's what the High Priestess is doing. You know, but she's like what Cancer is aspiring to. We're all aspiring to be high. You know what, all of us, not even just Cancerians, you know, we all want to be in touch with our intuition. And that's how we do that, Aries. You know, it's really being present in what's going down here and really seeing the situations for what this is. It's just like, okay, this is everything. Okay, I'm in a tower moment right now. All right, there's some devil situations here. I'm seeing some tendencies. It's just like, what do we do? How do we navigate this? How do we feel through this space? You know, I even think with this King of Swords, it's just like with them being in reverse, it's like, because maybe some of us have been in our heads too much about this, maybe been overthinking this thing, and it's time to tap into our intuition, you know, find that balance. But yeah, I really feel like maybe for some, you know, there could be the possibility of just like getting in our head, overthinking this thing, creating something that may not be there. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that your situation is not real, but the idea that it's not surmountable is, you know, like, you come on, Aries, like that's not even, I don't even think insurmountable is in your vocabulary. You're going to dominate this. You're going to power through this and elevate whatever this is that you're going to be doing. But we got to see through the noise, you know, got to see through the confusion and the visual effects. That reminds me of, a little sidebar here, that I just watched the Spider-Man movies not too long ago, and it reminds me of that, what's his name, Mysterio, because I was talking about, is there no Spider-Man movie with Mysterio? Because I always thought Mysterio was a badass, and then go to find out that absolutely there is. So just a little sidebar there, but just something to be mindful of, you know. And with your ruler being in Cancer, we're an intuitive sign. You know, really let your emotions, you know, how our intuition really comes to light. Let those emotions that you're feeling be indicators of where you need to go. You're not, let's say, for example, nervous, anxious, pissed, whatever. You're not those things. You're experiencing that. And then that leads you to ask why, because when you don't attach to it like that, it's just a flavor that's going down. It's an energy. And it's just like, okay, how do we work with it? So work with that energy, Aries. Look at that. We ain't really need to talk about that. Oh, I guess Mars made such a statement. Now, let's get to, and this is fantastic, you know, while we're talking about this connection with spirituality and higher self and not getting caught up in the noise, let's talk about Pisces energy. Because you got Saturn in Pisces and Neptune's in Pisces. And let's start with Neptune first. Because Neptune rules over Pisces and has been at home for a while. Neptune chills in a sign, I want to say it's about 12 to 14 years. And with Neptune being in Pisces, this could be, because this optical illusion came up, that's the first thing that I thought about was Neptune and Pisces. Just because Neptune can deal with the realm of like asylums and fantasies, illusions. And with it being in Pisces, you know, we could be susceptible to that energy if we're not listening to our intuition. You know, that could be something that we could get caught up in. Maybe if these things get a little crazy, you know, we could get in a devil situation where we might indulge in escapism, you know, and however that looks like. So that's something to just be mindful of, Aries. But also, this is it's such spiritual energy right now. And, you know, if we do find ourselves in situations like this, if we're like the cause of this or maybe someone else causes, it's still good energy to exercise compassion. But I also feel with this too, you know, just how I've been like, because there's just been something like, it's been popping in my head, you know, just like if you've been wanting to do something with like, you know, strengthening like the community or something, because you know it's weird times right now, and you know we all just want to have that sense of security. This is a time, you know, like Neptune and Pisces are all about the collective, you know, that loving energy, that boundless compassion. So, you know, just this is a great time for like building a soul tribe and really having energies that, you know, that are all working towards that 10 of cups and trying to really raise that vibration. So just something to think about, Aries. And then the last thing with Saturn being in Pisces, this is fantastic energy. One for spirituality. Let's talk about just on the spiritual point, you know, really connecting with higher self, the source, you know, however you connect the source, future self, higher self, God, Buddha, Jesus. But the biggest thing is you really, or another thing is like if we have like how I was saying like any like ideas that we might have been dreaming about. Saturn and Pisces. Saturn, you know, is the taskmaster. You know, can be a bit of a hard ass, but all Saturn is doing is just trying to get us in action, you know, to really try to, we put in that work, we get abundance. And Saturn wants us to, this go around is to take all these lovely dreams that we may have in our head that may be floating around here and manifesting that. Filling in this space because there's been nothing but maybe Dear John's, vases, dynamite, and thunderstorms. And now we want to create a new vision, you know, we want to see more than just the chaos. We want to see the beauty as well. So work with this energy, Aries. And let's see how we can do it. Let's get an oracle card on the mix here. All right. Okay. Alrighty. You got the, oh, I love that. Love that. You got the third card of Scorpios here. Why don't we just talk about that building a soul tribe? You got the Friends card. And with the Friends card, this is a card of friendship, group, soul tribe, third person, contact, relate, network, show up, hang out, meet in person, social media, interpersonal relationships, togetherness, and friendliness. And you know, this is great energy for that. You know, this could be if you find yourself in something like this, Aries, you know, or if you're going through a situation and the things just seem to be kind of spiraling out of control, don't feel like you can't ask for help. You know, I'm not sure, you know, if it's like, it would be like a pride thing or whatever it is, but don't let this situation get you to the place where you're at detriment, where your back's against the wall and you just feel like that, you know, it's, call a homie, hit them up. You know, I'm sure that there's got to be someone who's willing to help. And then if we can't think of anyone, then this may be a good time to just start thinking about maybe doing some crowdsourcing, you know, maybe going on, looking up for like a blog, maybe connecting with the group or something along those lines. And even just like on a bigger scale, you know, I really do feel like, you know, co-creation, you know, just even, not even just like, you know, business or just in general, doing some, I really feel like even just like putting the business stuff aside, because that's just like in general, like, yeah, if you can just partner up with people, do it. But I've been, this energy of like doing more like community things have been really kind of coming up in these readings, or at least have been kind of popping in my head here as of late. And so this really, I feel like, is a good time to just like kind of bond back with people again, kind of check any sort of like relationships and just see where things are at and see. Yeah, because I feel like we're just all this, you know, double Scorpio energy here. We're all going through these shifts, you know, we're all feeling this stuff here. And sometimes it's nice to just kind of connect with people and just like, yo, is it just me, or has it been just constant tower moments? You know, like even just like being able to unpack like that is just kind of, it's nice, you know, because then it takes away from that illusion too, because it could be, maybe some of us might be in a place where it's like, gosh, why is this just happening to me? You know, because sometimes it could feel like that. But let's get some, actually let me get some tea here, because man, just the talking. And let's get on some, get this tarot here. Ooh. All right, Ten of Pentacles. I'm with that. Okay. So, you know, wow, I mean, that was like aggressive. You know, with this Ten of Pentacles, You know, this is, yeah, I mean, come on, 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, that's why I was feeling this energy, Aries. It's just like, this is a great time if we want to even just like start fresh, you know, and however that looks, you know, maybe we want to like clear out some space. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you want to change up a job, maybe whatever. This is a time to really start thinking about that. What's going to fulfill you? What's going to provide you security? You know, what's your happy home, happy family, like all of this. You know, this is, how do we create all of that from this, you know, possible chaos? Look at that. You got 2 5s, 10 of Pentacles. Another 2 5, 10 of Cups. Look at you, turning disasters into diamonds. But we got to figure out how we're going to do that, you know, and make this stuff happen, you know. And the thing too, Aries, this is something that is for the duration of the journey. You may not get to this thing, but bet you're going to get real close to it, and you're going to enjoy this along the way. Enjoy that experience, because this is growth that's happening. You're getting stronger every day. You're transforming every day, every moment. And things are going to start lining up here, but we have to start lining up, getting a game plan, lining up our destiny, you know, seeing through the illusions that if you've been thinking that you can't do it, or that this stuff is only happening to you, or that life is trying to hold you down, or whatever this is, and start manifesting stuff. Because Aries, you're the sign of action. I mean, you're the trailblazers. You wanted to be first in the Zodiac, so now it's time for you to. I'm not coming at you, but it's, you know, it's time to show us why you want that you're first in the Zodiac. That show that you can, through all this stuff, you can cut through the noise. That you can bring it, and then inspire others to bring it, because that's how you do it. Huh? Look at that, dropping legacy and just getting out of here. Okay, last little bit. You got Pluto in Aquarius, and now Pluto's starting to do his retrograde dance too, because on the Pluto will be going retrograde. It's like, where do I want to start? We'll be going retrograde on the 1st of May, and we'll be retrograde in Aquarius until the 11th of June, and then retrograde into Capricorn for like the rest of the year until next year, January. But with Pluto going retrograde, you know, now the transformation has the energy's shifting now, you know, like when Pluto's starting to get more and more active, and so things are global. More global stuff is going to start happening here. Pluto's like is the higher octave of Mars, you know. So where Mars, you know, is bringing in that change, you know, like. It's one thing to have a tower moment, but this is like a globe, you know, like really, when we start getting to like the outer planets, you know, this is really, it affects us individually, but it really affects us more on a global level. Because like the last time Pluto did some shenanigans in Aquarius, it was, the American Constitution was ratified, there was a French Revolution, Industrial Revolution, a lot was going down. So brace yourself. There's going to be thunderstorms, there's going to be all this stuff, but how do we get 10 of Pentacles out of that? How do we get 10 of Cups out of that? Because it's here. That's the thing. It's here for you, Aries. It's just how do we go about getting it? But let's get an oracle card on this and see how we can. Let's see. Let's just see. All right, absolutely. You got the 3rd card of Leos here, which is the Inventor card. Look at you, change it. I love when you sync up with the energies, Aries. The Inventor card. It's a card of innovation, imagination, creative, gadgets, technology, groundbreaking development. It's okay to fail. Do it again and again. Inspired ideas, trends. Setting trends, but trendsetter. Let me stop pointing at you. Mastermind and modern era. And this is basically what we've been saying this whole reading, Aries. It's love it, higher self. Manifest that, you know. Let's go talk to you. I was talking to a homie. Manifest that stuff, Aries. I about forgot myself. Listen, because this is a great time for it. Like, I mean, this is for inventors, innovators, creators. The more that you can create, and I just don't even mean just in like a business aspect of it, just creating stuff in general, tapping into your imagination and start bringing some stuff to life. You know, I really feel like that this is a time for inspiration, because who knows, even you just like starting up a hobby, for example, you know, you go to tell one of your friends about it, that may start them up. They may have been thinking about something for a while, but they've been looking for that push. You know, maybe they felt like it wasn't practical with everything going down to be focusing on these little, you know, whatever it is that they wanted to work on. But now they see you, now they're inspired, more creations happening, and then look at that, your friends inspired someone else who's inspired someone else, and it's a ripple effect. And now the skies are clearing. Now vases are being built. Now John is, I don't know who John's writing to, but he's writing again, and he's writing happy notes. He's writing acceptance letters. Let's get some tarot. And let's get a little bit more on this energy. Because we're in a modern era. Like, this is like, the game is changing. The game has already changed, but now it's really time to settle in. And yeah, because you got the Five of Pentacles in reverse here, and it's time to, if we've been feeling like we've been in a rut, you know, that we've been by ourselves or whatever this is, like maybe we've even been feeling in a place of lack. It's time to start getting out of that rut, you know, and start thinking about, this is Mercury, how funny, this is Mercury retrograde in Taurus. That's what this Five of Pentacles is right now. But the nice thing about that is it's energies to reflect. It's how do we get out of this stuff? How do we build 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups? Make the most out of this Tower moment, you know? This is, even I feel like Aries, when a Tower moment happens to you, you can still turn it around to make it to your advantage. It might have been something like you didn't realize that maybe a change needed to happen, but I feel like it's one of those that, like, Tower moments don't keep you down or don't have the potential. I feel like they're more motivators, you know, because that's your ruler. This is your ruler bringing the Tower moment, so you're familiar with it. You can get out of this energy and build your stability whenever you are ready. But it's just seeing that more. Oh, okay. I guess we're switching back over here, Aries. I thought there was no more? Okay. No more. Because what else do you need? Let's ask that question. Because, you know, you have all this stuff to work with right now. 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, Devil, Tower moments, Hermits. You know, this is a great time for you to get innovative, to get imaginative, and do that thing, Aries. So get out there and do that thing, you know, and know that you can. Because I get that this might have seemed like a lot. That might have been, you may not be feeling too good about that, but I feel great about it, because this is stuff we can get eyes on, and we can get ahead of this thing. We can start planning for stuff. So I'm gonna leave that there, Aries. I'm with it. That was dope. Really dope reading. So if you like that or anything resonated, give it a thumbs up. And share this, especially if you know someone who might be going through something through this right now, because they're on a precipice, I feel like. And if you come in a situation like this, Aries, it is, you're at like a crossroads. This is going to be, don't look at this as like as a time to hide. No, this is a time to rise up and really get into action. So Emperor, get on that. And then when you're done, if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. Social media, I'm getting some other stuff figured out, you know, typical. But I am on this app, Insight Timer. It's a meditation app, and I created a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group for just to drop like positive affirmations, encouraging messages, you know, especially if you need something to get through this situation. There's a whole bunch of them there for you, as I post there daily. And I, you know, join and then do the same, you know, as you're getting through this journey. You know, any little nuggets to help us get through this stuff here. And then on that, again, that's the group is Zodiacs Raising the Vibration, and that's on the app Insight Timer. And then last little bit, if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, you got a hot ticket here, the High Priestess. Not that you needed one, but come on over to my other channels, the Sheridan Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. Absolutely discuss lunar shenanigans. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. Absolutely. Got the Page of Swords in reverse here. And while I'm going to get your Oracle card, and while we're talking about, or while I'm shuffling, with the Page of Swords, the Page of Swords, I feel like this is a time, oh, okay. This is a time, because that card you got there was the Vision card. This is a time of, yeah, really, of not keeping your ideas to yourself here, Aries. You know, like if we have any stuff that we want to cook up or feel like that you're being restricted or any type of things like that. You know, these situations that are going down, excuse me, are meant for you to help you see what tools you need to manifest. Look at all these eyes that you got here. We need to get some eyes on this stuff here. The tower and the vision is looking at you because they want to know what you see, what you're manifesting. You know, are we seeing just illusions, this optical illusion stuff here? Are we seeing like no potential here? Or are we seeing abundance? 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. You know, it's just a matter of Scorpio. Wow. Well, now that I'm about to say this, I'm just about to say it's all a matter of perspective, and I'm almost positive I told Scorpio a very similar thing. So be mindful of that. This is really important during this time, Aries, and really just going forward. You know, you can this stuff, the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, is only elusive if we choose not to see it, you know, but we can start by seeing it by expressing gratitude, affirmations, all of this stuff. So meditate on that, Aries. Think about this, because this is dope energy, and you're going to do something fantastic. And you stay safe out there. Especially, you know, kind of how when we were talking about that a little bit earlier, if we're in some kind of volatile situation, you know, like this is, you just be mindful, you know, you know what energies you're working with, and we just don't want to put ourselves in any where we feel unsafe or anything, okay? So just be safe out there. And really, focus on raising your vibration and figure out what you want to do, because this, to me, just seems like, you know, you can, whatever you see, you know, like you can manifest. So bring it from the dome to the home there, Aries. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.